In antiquity, the favor of the gods was important. Citadelum is a Roman-era city builder that tries to incorporate that godliness with supply chain and worker management. How does it fare? Watch on and find out. My name is Thoraxe, and this is Strategy for Busy People. If you've got a few minutes, I'll tell you what to play. Citadelum by Abelite Barcelona reminds me in some ways of an ancient game I used to play when I was a kid. Centurion, Defender of Rome. I put almost 3.5 hours into Citadelum to see what it had to offer. Citadelum has a series of campaign missions that lead you through a bit of Roman history. And to do this, as you might expect in a city builder, you build your city to achieve the goals, to advance the story. If you're surprised at this point, I'm not sure there's any hope for you. There are a couple of things that make Citadelum different than the classical city builder, and those things are what gave me those OG Centurion vibes. Firstly, while yes, you do build your own city/settlement, there's also a regional view where you can send scouts to explore and find other settlements. And once those settlements are discovered, you can choose to trade with them. This has the typical benefit of not needing to produce whatever good you might need to trade for, which could simplify your supply chain management in your own settlement. Wait, supply chain management? I thought you said this was a city builder. Well, yes, it's a bit of both. You take a standard city builder trope of people having certain needs they want to be met, like a supply of bread, and then in an anno-like fashion, you have to build up the supply chain for bread from wheat. And to top it all off, you need to do worker management and ensure that you have the right number of people to operate those facilities to produce all the things that you need. But even then, the devil is in the details. You see, not only do you have to do supply chain management, but you also have to deal with area of effect management. Let me explain. It's not enough to build a wheat farm to grow wheat. That wheat has to be collected, and it can only be collected at a granary. That granary has an area of effect where it can collect from food production facilities, and the granary workers can only collect food so quickly. Even if your wheat farm is fully allocated with workers, without enough granary workers, you won't collect the production quickly enough. It's not just about managing the supply chain, but to a degree it's about managing the throughput of that supply chain. This doesn't sound so annoying initially, but I'll explain why it ends up being annoying later. And in a somewhat incongruent design decision by the developers, it doesn't appear to take any time for the goods to get from the granary to the market. The market has an area of effect for covering the houses, and houses without market coverage get no access to their desired goods. But the moment the wheat's in the granary, it seems that the market now has access to that wheat. While roads and the quality of roads play an important part in collecting that wheat, it somehow doesn't seem to factor into distributing that wheat later, other than perhaps moving the wheat from the granary to the bakery, which makes bread. Returning again to the regional view, you also have the ability to build up armed forces and then send them off to engage in real-time tactical battles. The battle system is fine, but it's a little clunky to figure out how to place your troops, and there's no undo button, so a small mistake halfway through means you have to redo the entire placement of all your troops. Ugh. How do you get these various forces? Well, more supply chain management, of course. Make sure to place warehouses to gather raw materials from mines and such, convert those to something else like metal, which then gets fabricated into a sword, and then finally equipped onto a soldier that is trained, who lastly can get assigned into a legion to go off to battle. And while all of this is happening, you have the various gods who want temples and festivals held in their name. When those gods are fully happy, they will bless you with some benefits, but if you don't take care of their wishes, they might get angry and come down and basically just kick over a bunch of buildings. Frankly, this just ends up being more annoying than interesting and turns into its own flavor of micromanagement. Now, you might ask why I said earlier that the supply chain management aspects are annoying. Well, that's because similar to something I hated about Anno, every mission more or less involves the same sequence of steps. You figure out a place to drop your forum on a new map and then begin to build up the same exact supply chains you built up last time. You do enough to raise the level of your city to unlock the next highest tier of inhabitant, then build out that supply chain for those people to make them happy. Rinse, lather, repeat. It's barely even like the game holds back certain things from you so that you're encouraged to keep playing to unlock more interesting buildings or supply chains. You can pretty much see how everything is going to go right from the beginning. Oh, and on top of managing all of those supply chains, you also have this annoying mechanic of both fire prevention and building maintenance, both of which have their own area of effect along with water. Sure, it's a nice nod to the history to have to deal with these things, but it's just another annoying layer on top of a few other annoying layers. Hey, this new city needs iron mining just like the old city. Except I forgot to build a well and a fire station and an engineering building near the iron mine, so oops. Now my iron mine is on fire and the warehouse randomly got destroyed due to a lack of maintenance or something. Ugh. Before I give my final verdict, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Agree with me, disagree with me, or want to see other content? Let me know in the comments below. Want to try this game yourself? Check out my humble affiliate link below. And if you want to support me in making more of these videos, become a patron on Patreon. Your support really makes a difference. The final verdict. The graphics are fine, the music is fine, the supply chains are well thought out, and there's certainly plenty to do in this city builder. It just didn't draw me in, even being a huge fan of Roman history. The annoyance of having to build out the same exact supply chain yet again got to be too much, so I bounced out. On my trademarked 3-point score scale of avoid, meh, and I forgot to eat, there was plenty of bread and wine and circuses to keep the people entertained, but the game overall ends up being just so-so, mostly due to the annoyance factor. So I loaded my cart with olives and antiquities and headed off for greener pastures. Except that olives aren't grown in pastures and I'm not Indiana Jones.